Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. It's Bears Over Beers. We're coming at you at a little bit different time today, but it is Wednesday. It's our normal time. We worked it out. We got a time to go live. It's Ryan Drosty, Brian Orenchuk. And what better way, Brian, to start your New Year's Eve than to talk a little Chicago Bears football? How you doing, my man?
Doing great. It's been an awesome year, awesome season. And man, I'm happy to ring it out with you and everybody listening and joining in. Yeah, man, one more game to go, and then big time ball. So I'm stoked, man. But I'm really excited to share my beer tonight. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna go first.
Yes.
I got one of my favorite local breweries. It's called Pisgah Brewery. You see, that's a brain and a coffee bean.
Yeah.
And this is a coffee stout, but not just any coffee stout. My favorite coffee in the world is this local roaster where I used to live in Black Mountain, North Carolina, called Dynamite Roasting Company.
Okay.
And so this beer is brewed. It's a seasonal, limited edition brew. But Ryan, it goes deeper than that. My wife had a hard time in after we had our babies delivering or producing breast milk. And there's an old wives' tale, predominantly in the Irish-Scottish traditions, that if you drink a dark beer, it helps with production. And sure enough, this worked. So we used it for every one of our 4 girls at this hospital. Your co-host would go sneak out and sneak in some local beers, and my wife would be happy, I'd be happy, and we would be cheersing to the new life of a future Bears fan. And I haven't had one in a long time. And my daughter's birthday is tomorrow, and the other one's birthday is the next day. So this is it's been a while since I'd had one of these and been able to find joy in our Bears. So
Yes,
this is an especially special pour tonight on New Year's Eve, obviously in our pint glass. But yeah, I'm excited, man. So it's going to take you a lot to beat that one, but I'm excited to see what you got.
Well, I got to preface mine with I'm probably not going to start drinking it on air, although it depends how my other beverage goes down. So just to give you guys a window into backstage maneuverings here at Bears Over Beers, we were like maybe going to do a show today. We were maybe going to do one tomorrow. We talked about possibly doing one yesterday and pre-recording it, and we ended up just flying by the seat of our pants. We're like, screw it, let's go live right now. But I had actually just poured some coffee. So it's like nice. Bears over coffee for me in my Top Rope Nation mug, which is my other podcast, if you like pro wrestling. Cool, so I got a little Nespresso in here that's pretty good. But if I get this done, I do have a beer in here, which I do plan on drinking at some point tonight during New Year's Eve. So I will share about this one here. So this is from a brewery down in Des Moines, Iowa, called Confluence. And it's also a dark beer. And it's a porter, peanut butter cup porter. I love porters. And I do remember, Brian, also hearing that when my wife was pregnant about the dark beers and, breast milk and all of that. I had heard that before. So when you start going to that story, I'm like, oh yeah, this is familiar. But no, I love peanut butter porters. There's not a lot of them out there that are real good. There used to be a brewery up in Minneapolis I used to go to called Dangerous Man that was really, really good. It closed and now it's reopening. I think a former teacher actually bought the rights to it. They made a great peanut butter porter. They made a really good chocolate milk porter that was really good. So I'm hoping they bring that back. This one I have not had yet. I saw it on the shelf. Oh, wow. I really like the can. 6.2%. Reese's peanut butter cups are like my all-time favorite candy. So I'm looking forward to trying that. So at some point tonight, I'll have that for New Year's Eve. I mean, of course, we're gonna have some champagne too with the wife, and I'll be ringing in 2026
to midnight. I'm not sure that we're gonna be able to do that tonight. We're tired. Tired parents. But how cold is it there right now where you're at?
You know what? The snow has actually been melting a little bit. Let me see. It was starting to get a little colder when I went and picked up my girls like an hour ago. They're out with the grandparents. It's 34 right now. Okay. But this morning it was a lot colder. So yeah, it looks like it's gonna be in the 20s through the weekend highs. So it's a little warmer now than it's going to be. Yeah. But yeah, it warmed up. It was definitely colder a few days ago. So
yeah, it's about that here now, 35.
Yeah.
It was 20s earlier today, but it makes these dark beers taste even better, in my opinion.
I agree. Love a dark beer in the wintertime. So good choices. We had like-minded thinking going to this show. And Brian, where it was a lot warmer was San Francisco or Santa Clara, California, I should say, about 50 miles from San Francisco, on Sunday night football. Just, it's been a few days. I think I'm still tired from staying up watching that game, to be
Yeah,
honest with you. I had
yeah,
so much adrenaline after the game and, trying to go to sleep that night. We talked about this on the show before. When they play these primetime late night games, it's so hard to get to bed afterwards.
yeah,
You're up like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
And, man, I can't think of many games I've watched as a Bears fan where the Bears lost and I still felt pretty good about it. Like, now if we were in a race to clinch the playoffs and we hadn't already done that before the game, maybe my reaction would have been different. But, coming out of that game, 42-38, essentially the difference in the game was us settling for a field goal and not scoring, the drive prior. Also, just not having enough time on the 2-yard line at the end of the
Yeah.
game. The Bears have 10 more seconds, they probably win the game. But that said, San Francisco is an awesome team. I mean, possibly in a lot of people's minds should be favored to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC, especially if they get some of their guys back, on the defensive side for the playoffs, and also George Kittle. So, like, it's not bad to lose to them in their house, but to go blow for blow in a slugging it out with that team, with Kyle Shanahan's offense, back and forth, getting the lead late. Heck of a game. I would love to see them again. It's
Yeah.
one of those things where I feel like the Bears and Niners are destined to have some classic games over the next several years.
Hmm. Yeah, because of the roster construction,
Yeah.
I would agree. And the offensive mastermind, that was the one thing that I took away more than anything. Obviously, Brock Purdy played a hell of a game, but Kyle Shanahan was cooking all night, and Ben was too. So it was, it's what you want as a fan of any team, for your team to have an innovative, effective, proven offensive play caller with a quarterback that can carry it out. And lo and behold, the Bears finally have one, and it was just more on display Sunday night. I mean, in my opinion, that was the best game that I think he's played, and I wasn't expecting it, Ryan.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't see him having that talent, but I was expecting, and I think Ben got away from the run game. I was expecting a Monangai and Swift, kind of battering ram, run it down their throat, and Caleb just, he just took control. Luther Burden had a heck of a game, and obviously our tight end as well. But I was very excited as well with what I saw on the offensive side of the ball. On the defense, not so much. We've got some holes. There are obvious holes. I think we need to get Tremaine Edmonds back healthy. He really frustrated me, disappointed me with his play. And we have some issues rushing the passer, which showed up, and holding contain on the edge all day with the play actions and bootlegs. And so we got to step up on defense. As Jaquan Brisker said after the game, it was on him and the defense. They let the team down because the offense put up 38 points. That's more than enough. So anyway, I'm eager to see them again. I think we can hang. Obviously, we can hang. We need to step up. I'm really excited to see the Packers, which it looks like we'll be playing them. But we obviously have the Lions, who I'm also really excited to see us play, because they beat us worse than anyone this season, and let us know about it. And that was a long time ago, when we were still figuring out our rhythms as a team, and Ben and everything, offensive line especially. So I would like to wipe the floor with them this weekend, and assert our dominance atop the NFC North, and then go assert it further the week after against the Packers. And then we would rightfully, in my opinion, officially have arrived at the top, where we can comfortably say we're the king of the hill at this point. And I don't see us letting it up if things continue to go the way they've gone. But I kind of went off on a little tangent there, bro. What are you thinking about? Am I looking too far ahead at the Packers? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think with the Lions game in particular, I think the team, Ben, for sure, have been thinking about that game all
Oh
year
yeah,
and wanting to get some revenge. We talked on the pod afterwards if we felt they ran it up with that score, 52-21 back in week 2. I mean, these are two totally different teams now. I mean, the Lions are a complete mess. They just lost to a Vikings team that had 3 net yards passing. Max
yeah,
Brosmer could not have played worse, and they lost to him. I mean, the Bears should destroy Detroit. And so anything can happen in the NFL, but if that game starts getting out of hand, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what route the Bears take and if they run the score up in return.
yeah.
We know that Caleb has a chance to be a 4,000-yard passer now because of that game he had in San
That's true.
Francisco. San Francisco is the first game this year that he's passed for over 300 yards in a game. He got
Yeah,
pretty close, I believe, in the Dallas game. He had 330 against San Francisco. So he just needs 270 yards. And given how the Lions have been playing in recent weeks, it's not out of the question, especially if the Bears want to run it up a little bit. They owe Detroit some payback. So, there was all this discussion on if the Bears should rest their starters. And our guy Bill Zimmerman did a
love it.
outstanding brief podcast that you guys should check out yesterday where he talked about that. No, the team needs to go into the playoffs with some momentum. Getting their win back on Detroit will be huge, I think, for their psyche and give them that confidence to go up against most likely another divisional opponent in Green Bay in week 1. And no, I mean, I think you have to try to, and Ben has said this, but you want to clinch the 2 seed. I think there's a massive difference between having the 2 seed or the 3 seed, because if you're the 2 seed, if the number 1 gets knocked off, you're hosting the NFC title game if you can go deep enough into the playoffs.
Right. Yeah.
And you're guaranteed 2 home playoff games. The Bears are way better at home this year than they are on the road. The Bears defense in particular, to your point, is much better at home in the points per game allowed on defense versus on the road. So you should want to play at home as much as you can and potentially host 2 playoff games. And, if the number 1 seed gets knocked off, maybe even the 3rd one if you can keep winning. Either way, at most you're playing 1 road playoff game if you can make a deep run.
Right.
Maybe they don't. Green Bay, the Bears should beat them right now, but you never know. It's a rivalry game. Both games have been really close. You should beat them. It's going to suck if we play them and we don't beat them, obviously, but I think that that's the best matchup right now that you could ask for. So, I feel optimistic about that potential playoff game, but I feel really good about the Detroit game. I think the Bears are going to come home, play Detroit, and win going away. I don't think this is going to be one of these games that we've gotten used to this year where we're biting our fingernails all the way through the final buzzer. I think this is a game the Bears are going to control all the way through.
I agree. I don't, excuse me, we're still all getting over sicknesses over here, man. Just like the Bears injury report, as you can see. But I think that they are going to do well, very well. I don't think Ben's going to keep Caleb in for the record. I think he gets it, but I don't think he keeps him in. I don't think he runs the score up. I think he's all about business, man. He's not about emotions and all that stuff. I think he's going to enjoy putting it on Dan Campbell and the Lions, but I think he still loves a lot of the people over there. So it's not anything bitter, in my opinion. But I do think that as well. I think we get some guys rested and healthy, and yeah, I'm with you, and that's why I think it was nice. You talked about the weather; it wasn't so cold out west in Santa Clara, and it was nice for the guys to be able to do that because if they're playing in the playoffs, they're playing at home. It's going to be cold in Chicago, right? And so they got a little, almost like I don't want to say a bye week, almost like an all-star break, a tune-up, a work trip out west where you can kind of get away from the cold and in prime time. I thought that was an encouraging performance for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the Niners could be the 1 seed, and we could end up playing there again. They're a very, very strong team, and I think their defense really stepped up. And having them get Fred Warner back, that would be a huge concern, in my opinion, to see, because if we play them again, it would be in the NFC Championship, which means, well, more than likely, depending on how things shake out. But if they're the 1 seed, it'll be, in San Fran again, the last week before Super Bowl. And it's another, I think we match up well against them. We have to tighten up, and not having that momentum advantage at home with our defense would be huge against them. So they get in that rhythm and get them out of it. But I'm excited, man, for the acquisition of Trevon Diggs by the Green Bay Packers. Did you see that yet? We haven't talked about it.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Next to Green Bay, There is not a single team in the NFL that I dislike more, including in the NFC North, than the Dallas Cowboys. I've got a lot of friends that are Cowboys fans, and I enjoy them, and I respect their fanhood. Right? They've had some great success in the early '90s, and that's about all we can say about that. But they the way that Jerry Jones, like just some of their players, I just have never really liked them. And then they claim that they're America's team, and it's been a long time since then. I think it goes back to Emmitt Smith. He obviously he's not the caliber of running back that Walter was, or Barry, in my opinion. But Emmitt had elite offensive lines, offensive schemes, quarterback, receiver, tight end, fullback, excuse me, Hall of Fame caliber players. And Barry Sweetness did not. These guys did not have that level of protection. And we've seen what a capable, let alone elite offensive line can do for our offense, especially our running game. I mean, everybody, more just like I do, how many people were clamoring for DeAndre Swift to be out of town after last year? They were low on him. And we upgraded our offensive line. All of a sudden, he's a Pro Bowl caliber player. And who people think we should re-sign or extend even. Offensive line's huge. And so that's part of it as well. But then they go and get Micah Parsons. And he starts talking all that junk. Obviously, we didn't play him last time. But this is adding another level, another chapter to this rivalry. And I love it. Because we have Al Harris coaching our defensive backs now. Used to be with the Cowboys. Coached up Trevon Diggs, who Trevon, if my understanding is accurate, attributes his success early in his career to Al Harris.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we could have had a chance at acquire or picking him up in waivers, but we don't need him. We have got some great young corners. Tyreek is back. Jalen's back. Nashar Wright, excuse me, is still doing well. I'm excited to see our receivers carve up Keyshawn Nixon and Trevon Diggs in a couple weeks, because I think we can. But like I said, another chapter to this rivalry, Ryan, and that's the really cool thing about it is these teams are, like it or not, they're going to be here for a while. So let's see who can come out on top.
I like how this slowly transitioned to a F. Emmitt Smith podcast for a second there. I felt much the same about when he passed Walter on the rushing league. He was a very good running back. But I don't think anyone really considers him the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And Barry should have been the guy to break the record, but he retired.
Right.
But no, I also am not a huge fan of Dallas. And now you get another Cowboy going up to Green Bay. Look, I said it on Twitter yesterday. I thought the Bears should have taken a flyer on Diggs if they could get him, just because we could use more pieces. Our defense is in shambles right now, and he hasn't been good of late. I'm aware of that. I think he's allowing like a perfect passer rating to opposing offenses right now. My thought process for it was that, he didn't, there was no money owed past this year on him. Al Harris has the connection with him. Maybe you can coach him up a little bit and get some minutes out of him if we need to. You mentioned some of the guys we got playing, but just a depth piece, for the run in the playoffs. This is a guy who he was first team All-Pro in 2021. He was two-time Pro Bowler. He got a lot of interceptions, very much like a boomer bust type player. Right. But the Al Harris connection made me think, it's worth a try. See what we can get out of him.
If Al signed off on it, I would have been happy with it. But I just think from a rivalry standpoint, it adds some luster to this, historic franchise rivalry. So adds to it.
But then on the flip side, you can say, hey, look, Green Bay had to pick him up. So they're worried about that Bears wide receiver room, as they should be.
As they should be.
You look at San Francisco, we did that. We went blow for blow with one of the best offenses in the league without our number one wide receiver and DJ Moore, who was basically right off the sickbed. Yep. Luther had just a phenomenal game. It looks like he's avoided major injury. See, he was limited in practice today. There was the way that last play ended was scary because he had such an awesome game.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's going to be fine based on what we're seeing. I don't know if he'll play this week or not. I probably wouldn't play him, but just save him for the playoffs. But he was limited in practice today. The only DNPs were Adunze still with the foot, Joe Tryon Shoinka with a concussion, We had Luther and Blackwell were limited. Nick McLeod limited because of illness. Ozzy Trapillo knee quad limited, and Zacchaeus was a full participant despite being sick still. So we're getting, this is a much shorter injury report than we saw earlier in the year. I write those up on Windy City Gridiron on Wednesdays, and they have been very long. It's at least getting a little bit shorter. But I'm hoping we got our wide receiver room pretty close to ready to go for that playoff game. And Green Bay is going to need everything they can to cover these guys, because, man, you think about how the Bears also got Luther Burden from that Carolina Panthers trade. I mean, this is, the haul just keeps paying off and paying off. This guy is a superstar, man. We got 3 receivers that are like Pro Bowl level now. Remember a couple of years ago, I mean, the Bears were like all no-name receivers.
Oh, yeah.
Now we got DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden. I think Luther Burden might be my next jersey I buy, Brian. I haven't told you this.
I've been saying that for a while. That's a clean look. Number 10, Burden, the third. I think he'll be here a while too. I love the way he plays. You've highlighted his explosiveness on Twitter, which I fully agree.
His body control is insane. The way he can just pivot and change direction on a dime is crazy. He is a phenomenal player. I just love the story too. He came from like a lot of poverty, and then people passed over him. He has that chip on his shoulder. The night the Bears drafted him, he immediately was working out. Like sent out that video. I mean, this guy's a dog. I am so pumped that he's a Chicago Bear.
And adds to it as well that Green Bay passed on him to select their first round receiver in like 25 years. That's awesome. And he's destroying him in a rookie season.
Yeah. So, God, it's gonna be fun, Brian, because we picked up this podcast last year. What didn't go so well, and now, my goodness, we're gonna get at least one bonus game out of it. Yeah. I was looking back at when we did the preview. Remember we did the schedule reaction show with Jacob that night the schedule came out.
Yep.
And both you and I had the Bears at 11-6, and I think Jacob was 10-7. And dang, man, we were pretty close on every single game. I think there's only 1 or 2 games we didn't get right.
We need to bring that up next week. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Once we have the final result. But yeah, man, I think hopefully the Bears can get the 12th win this weekend. Feel go into the postseason with their heads high. They didn't really get to celebrate the division championship, because it happened without them playing, and then they lost. Hopefully they can at least put on the caps or something in the locker room Sunday after the game. But, yeah, man.
Too, the whole idea that you have to beat the champs to be the champs. And the defending NFC North champs are the Lions. So we get to host them in our house, the champs' house, and show them what's up. And then we move on. And I know Ben's going to have his guys ready. So looking forward to it. Let's do predictions. What you said.
I was just going to say, Brian, real quick, because it just popped in my head, because you're in North Carolina. Ric Flair, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ric Flair always said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! And that's what the Bears got to do.
Yeah.
That's what they got to do this weekend. They got to beat the Detroit Lions.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Okay, let's go to predictions.
You go first.
All right. Yeah, I got the Bears. I'm going to say 31-14 Bears. I think they're going to win this one going away. I think they've had a bad taste in their mouth ever since week 2. They've had this circled on the calendar. This is their chance. I'm going to say 31-14. I mean, if they lose to Detroit the way that Detroit's playing right now, I don't know how I'm going to feel going to the playoffs. This is a game the Bears should not screw around in. They should run them off the field.
Yeah, I'm with you. I say 37-20 Bears.
37-20. I like it. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're celebrating next week and we're previewing the first round of the playoffs. My goodness, been a long time. So weird, because I don't even feel like 2020 doesn't feel like a playoff year. I don't even think of it as like a year the Bears. It's basically been 7 years.
We snuck in. They expanded the amount of teams that could enter, and I think didn't we have a losing record, or was it 9?
I think they were exactly 500.
Yeah. It was terrible.
I think, was that the last year before they expanded this? I think we were 8-8. I mean, they backed into it.
Yeah, they did.
Well, speaking of backing into it, Green Bay, they wouldn't have made the playoffs the last 4 years if it wasn't for the 7 seed getting added. So they're benefiting in that way too.
Yeah. And they've had some injuries, and like I said, I'm excited to see them. I'm excited to get another chance at solidifying that rivalry is back in the rightful ownership.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about. I mean, it's been a good year. So about New Year's, man. What are you doing tonight? You guys have plans?
So speaking of illnesses, we were supposed to go over to a friend's of ours house, and like our kids are all friends, and we had some plans to go. And then my buddy's wife, they were gonna host, woke up sick this morning, and I was like, we could still. She said she wasn't feeling great. I'm like, I don't want to risk it. I've heard this flu going around. I mean, I've had the flu shot, but still, you can still get sick.
Yeah.
And I've heard it's really bad this year. So I'm like, I don't think so. So we're just gonna hang out, watch some TV. Like I said, have some champagne. We'll do the ball drop early with the kids before they go to bed, is what we usually do.
What time do you do it with the kids?
We've done it at like 7 before. We've done it at 8. They're getting a little older now. We'll probably do it around like 8, I imagine. We always watch the London fireworks. Oh my goodness. Look, I'm proud to be an American, Brian, but London does New Year's right. Have you ever watched the London New Year's celebration? It's crazy. It puts ours to shame.
Nice.
So we always pull that up. Yeah, we pull that up on YouTube. It's spectacular. We always watch that. And that's before they go to bed because of the time difference. So we'll probably be watching that, have a few beverages. I did every year, this become a tradition. Since I don't live in Chicago, I always order through the mail Lou Malnati's deep dish, and we have it on New Year's Eve. So right after we get off the line here, I'm going to go put those in the oven and probably crack a beer. So that's what I have planned. What about you?
Yeah, we had some dear friends that just moved in to the neighborhood, and it's actually their 20th wedding anniversary. So we're going to have them over and a couple other new to them, but neighbors. And we'll probably do the kids early. We can probably all go to bed early tonight. I don't know that we'll all stay up, but we have, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 families coming over tonight.
Okay, nice. I didn't even tell you this. I was in Chicago over the weekend.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah. So I went to the AEW World's End pay-per-view, wrestling pay-per-view there. I didn't go downtown. It was out in Hoffman Estates, so one of the furthest out suburbs, but closer to Iowa. So it's about a 4-hour drive from here. Okay. And we went there Saturday night. It was a surprise kind of gift for my 2 older girls for Christmas. They really wanted to go to the show. So it was the last gift I gave them. So I had the tickets. So I printed off the confirmation email. They were virtual tickets, but I printed it off in an envelope and I put it in the Christmas tree. And so they opened all their gifts Christmas morning. We were all done, waited, 30, 40 minutes. And I was like, hey, there's something else up there. You guys see that envelope? And I'll send you the video off air. It was pretty funny. They were very shocked. So we went there Saturday, went to the show. My wife came and my youngest as well. They didn't go to the wrestling show, but they came along for the ride. And we ended up going to the Lego store and got a Lego set for my youngest. And then she put that together in the hotel room while we were at the wrestling show.
Nice.
And then the next morning, though, a huge winter storm came in. I was so nerve-wracked about this, getting back in time before it started. And basically what it came down to is I needed to get home before noon. So we got up at 6 a.m. We were out till almost midnight at this wrestling show. Got up at 6 a.m. We were on the road by 6:45. I got home at about 11 a.m. And then within 10 minutes of pulling in my garage, sleet started coming down. And my buddy who I was going to see tonight, whose wife is sick, he was at the show too. And they left about an hour after us. And they were going like 30 down the interstate, he said, because it was so dicey. He said he saw a car just fly into the ditch on the opposite side of the road. Like, I'm glad we left super early because it was really dicey. So if you want to hear about that, if you guys like wrestling, check out Top Rope Nation. Did an episode on that released last night and talk more about the show in Chicago this past weekend.
Yeah, nice. That sounds like a blast. My girls want to come to Chicago for anything. Yeah, maybe women's basketball, maybe Bears training camp, maybe draft weekend or something like that. But that sounds fun. So drive safe. You got to plan ahead. Do the same for tonight. If you guys are doing anything for New Year's out of the house, and appreciate you guys listening all season long, all year. Happy New Year to everyone out there, East Coast, West Coast, overseas, across the pond, wherever you are. Cheers to
Cheers.
an amazing season, my man. And it's not done yet. It really feels like it's only getting started.
Heck yeah.
And with that, we might have a guest or two lined up because we have a few more shows to go.
Yeah.
Everyone. We have a few more. Oh, this reminds me. I got this from my daughter at a craft show. One of her student friends made it. It's a candle with a little candle holder. It's made out of beeswax and it's Bears colors.
Nice.
She's like, Daddy, you can put it on your podcast.
That's perfect.
Thanks, baby. Yeah,
that's awesome. Very nice.
But
Very nice.
yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. And bear down, man. We'll be in touch. You and I talk pretty much regularly now. So
yeah,
having a good evening yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be here for the ride, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. Enjoy your New Year's. Like Brian said, be safe out there. Use the rideshare apps. You don't have to drive, but have a good time while you're out or at home if you're like us old men. So we'll see everybody next Wednesday night. Get ready. The NFL playoffs. Take it easy, everybody. Bear down.
Bear down.